So how do I know if ADHD coaching and therapy is right for me? I work with many clients who are either diagnosed with ADHD officially or are self-diagnosed and have a strong feeling that they have ADHD due to some of the challenges and difficulties that they are currently facing. So traditional ADHD coaching would be somebody who has coaching skills and has a specific knowledge of ADHD. So that is understanding the differences in the functionality and development of a neurotypical versus a neurodiverse brain. So understanding some of the challenges that come alongside those functional difficulties, having a really good awareness of what those challenges look like, why they arise. So again, from a kind of neuroscientific point of view, the challenges around, say, dopamine and some of the neurotransmitters, in terms of how that can affect our memory, our processing speed, our motivation, our rewards, and in turn affect our ability to then prioritise, time manage, concentrate, and basically do the tasks, the things that we need to do, without procrastinating or without getting overwhelmed and distracted. So ideally, an ADHD coach will have some specialist and formal training in those kind of areas. The types of things ADHD coaching can support are helping with those difficulties. So putting together specific and individual strategies and kind of better ways of reassessing, reevaluating and dealing with situations. Things that can help with are things like time management, time blindness, which is losing track of time, a lack of awareness of time, the ability to accurately manage how long tasks take, and how to then prioritise those tasks. Communication skills, it's a really big thing. Either not finding the right words, not being able to communicate yourself properly, maybe feeling misunderstood. Lots of reasons for that. So effective communication skills, relationships is a really big one. There's lots and lots of research that shows that for both the ADHD, the person with ADHD and the person in a relationship with that person, whether that's romantic, friends, work, there are more challenges than there would be in a neurotypical relationship. And often that causes some kind of conflict or difficulty that it can be difficult to overcome. Managing emotions can come under coaching if you're looking for effective strategies for how to kind of put a brake on that and deal with it. Procrastination is a big one for ADHD, so getting ourselves to do things that we don't really want to do, those tasks that we either don't see as important or we just don't like or we find really tricky, or there's something more interesting and exciting, as ADHD is an interest-based prioritisation. It can be helpful to have dealing with habits and eating. So they're all things that can come under coaching. Coaching itself is asking questions. It is getting you to come up with better strategies yourself, things that are going to be personalised, individual and work for you and how your brain works. Everybody with ADHD is different. When you have met one person with ADHD, you've met one person. So it's about you as an individual. So therapy would be more around the issues to do with some of the side effects of having ADHD. So for example, having ADHD is very likely to give you some form of an anxiety disorder. It's very, very common. And likewise, depression is another thing that can often go hand in hand with ADHD. So therapy can be really supportive, helping you deal with the anxiety that has occurred probably directly as a result of ADHD, but certainly ADHD has contributed towards that general anxiety that you might have had anyway. It's exacerbated it. Trauma, very, very common that people with ADHD have experienced microaggressions, micro traumas, as well as big traumas due to various different reasons, but particularly to do with the lack of being able to accurately predict consequences of outcomes, the lack of being future focused in terms of knowing that taking this action today might have negative impacts in the future, or just not caring. Also that dopamine, that kind of reward centre of our brain, can often send us down some of the paths that would probably not be ideal, which can lead us to be vulnerable. Stress, like I said, the stress of having all of those problems, time management, communication skills, relationship issues, oh my goodness, all of those things are going to massively contribute towards your overall stress in life. Therapy can be really supportive in terms of your emotional regulation and managing it. So learning how to have relaxation strategies, how to regulate your emotions, how to deactivate your sympathetic nervous system and engage your parasympathetic nervous system, things like progressive muscle relaxation, as well as actually learning and understanding more about how to deal with your emotions. Things like rejection sensitivity dysphoria, oppositional defiance disorder, they are all things that therapy can help you support you to learn how to manage those things better. And then things that are comorbid with ADHD that often go hand in hand, such as eating disorders or disordered eating, addiction, and some of the other mental health issues which can co-occur at the same time as ADHD. So my approach is to use a combination of coaching and therapy with hypnosis, so we can access your conscious and your subconscious brain. We can work on strategies. We can talk about your brain, how it functions differently. We can talk about knowing that information, how that will support you then. It will also help you from the therapeutic side of understanding that a lot of this is not your fault, your brain is not broken. And so what we can then start to do is to rewire your brain to work more efficiently and effectively for you, but also deal with some of those like negative beliefs that you have inherited through your learnt experiences of life. Also things like the shame, the guilt, the stress, the anxiety and the anger that you would have felt, and probably then learn to use those things to get you to act in a neurotypical way or to achieve goals. The therapy part of it can learn that actually that is a learnt behaviour, and there are better coping strategies when we stop living like that. So when we stop living in shame, when we start living and accepting ourselves, we're actually more likely then to change. We're more likely to become the person we want to be. So hypnotherapy, like I said, it's a wonderful, relaxing, supportive therapy where we can use your subconscious brain. We can learn how to go into that lovely state of where your brain can just start to communicate effectively with the prefrontal cortex, the decision making and forward thinking area of your brain. All the parts of your brain can start working really nicely together, and we can activate the default mode network, which is where the subconscious brain starts to kind of plan and work out how to create the outcome that we really want to. The most important thing as well is we do that when we're feeling safe, when we're feeling relaxed and calm. And when we feel relaxed and calm, that means that our panic button is not activated, our emotional regulation is happening. We are less likely to respond with the normal strategies that we would use, like anxiety, anger, stress, low mood, shame, whatever it is that drives our conscious decision-making process. When we take all of that away, we can actually then start to respond and react to things in a way that's going to be more beneficial for us. So hopefully that explains some of the work that I do, the techniques that I use, and how it could support you with your ADHD. If you have any questions and you're interested in learning more, you can get in touch for a free call. Alternatively, you can book a full consultation where we spend a whole hour going into the details of your life, your history, what you want to get out of therapy, and we start to actually implement in that session some of those new techniques that you'll be able to use and start practicing to start really making those changes in your life.